Hey everyone, welcome to another video. And today in this video, I'm going to talk about a very interesting concept called Ikigai. It is interesting as well as practical. The concept comes from a Japanese term called Ikigai, which essentially means reason for being, or reason to stay alive, or in other words, reason to live. So it talks about 4 different parts which leads to a happy, sustainable life, which can also earn you a living. So the concept also goes with the book by the same name, which is called Ikigai. And this is the book which I have in front of me and which you can see. It's a great book. I would also recommend everyone to buy it and read it, which talks about the concept at length. But if you don't want to go through the whole book, I'll give a gist in this video and what are the components which caters to Ikigai as a concept and how you can use these concepts in your life to make sure that you are choosing the right field of professional and personal growth, which will lead to massive success while giving you fulfillment and happiness along the way. So let's get into this. So Ikigai talks about 4 different things. And when you combine the 4 different things, then the magic happens. And what are these 4 different things? Let me list it down real quick for you. So these are 4 different questions that you need to ask yourself and arrive at a particular field or a particular profession which you can continue doing for a long time, which will lead to fulfillment, success, happiness, and also money in your life. So what are these 4 questions that you need to ask? The first question that you need to ask is, what do you love? The second question that you need to ask is, are you good at the thing that you love to do? Third question that you need to ask is, whatever you love and you good at it, does the world actually need it? The fourth question that you need to ask is, whatever you love, whatever you are good at, and if that thing is something that the world even needs, then the fourth question is the world willing to pay for it? These are the 4 questions that needs to be asked. Now, it is very easy to tell that you need to ask this question and you need to arrive at certain profession which can lead to massive success as well as happiness and fulfillment and so on. But how do you really ask yourself and get the answers of these questions, right? So let's break down the entire process and go through each of these components as individual components and how you then can arrive at a certain field or profession that you really want to continue. So let's get into the first step, which is identifying what you love. Now, how can you identify what you love to do? And as I always tell everybody, it starts with pen and paper. You need to take a paper, you need to take a pen, and you need to jot down whatever you think that you like to do, whatever you think that you love to do. Nobody can tell you what you love to do or what you like to do. You yourself need to come out with those things that you like to do or love to do, because every individual is different, every individual is unique, and what they like and not like is extremely dependent or relevant for that individual only and only for that individual. So you have to decide what you like to do and what you love to do. And it's not that difficult. If you sit with a pen and paper and think a little bit, you can actually roughly jot down the stuff that you really like or love to do as a hobby or otherwise. So it could be as simple as you like to do photography. It could be simple as you like gardening. It could be as simple as you like cooking or anything that comes to your mind. So the first step is to jot down all of the things that you like to do or love to do as a hobby or otherwise. And why that is important? It is important because every other step from now on is dependent on this step. This is the baseline that you need to start from, because if you don't start from the things that you like to do, anything that you build on top of it will not be sustainable. So you have to first figure out what are the things that you like or love to do. That is step 1, and that is why it is extremely critical. And now, if you have jotted down all the things that you really like or love to do, it is time that we move to step 2. So the next step number 2, is to understand what you're good at. Now here is the catch. You might like 50 things, but that doesn't mean that you are good at all the 50 things. And it is only by trying that you will be able to understand that if you are good at something or not. Yes, it is true that if you like something, then probably the likelihood that you will be good at eventually, after practicing that particular stuff for a long amount of time, you probably will be good at. But are you really naturally good at that? Or do you really naturally have a passion towards that? Or is it just a passing interest? So that is something that you need to understand. For example, if you really love photography, then you need to try photography for a while. You need to try photography at least for a few months, and then you see that how good you actually are. And then you'll also be able to understand that will you be able to continue photography for a long period of time, probably for next 50 years. So is this something that you are really interested in for a short amount of time, or is it something that you are really passionate about and you can see yourself continue doing for an extremely long amount of time? And passion is nothing but sustained interest for an extremely longer period of time. So you have to find out which are the things that you love and which are the things that you are really good at, and also which are the things that you will have sustained interest for an extremely long period of time. So now if you have identified the things that you love and things that also you are good at, it's time that we go to the step 3. So the third step is understanding if the world needs it. In business terms, we can loosely connect this with the demand, but here it's not really business level demand, but it's about, is there a need in this world that you are able to fulfill by the things that you are doing and by the things that you are also good at? So it is not necessary that the things that you love to do and the things that you are good at is something that the world truly needs. For example, if you are someone innovative and you like to tinker with different things and you have a fascination probably about pens which can play audio music. I'm just making it up completely out of the air. Let's say you have a fascination about creating pens which also play music. Now imagine how many people would be really interested into it. I don't know, probably a lot, I don't know, but I think probably not that much, because when you use a pen to write something and if you play a certain amount of music, it could also lead to distraction. A lot of people don't like distraction. And not only that, is it helping to solve any need that the world has? Does the world need a pen which can also play music? To give another example, let's say you are very good at playing cards. You like to play cards and also you are very good at playing cards. You can probably make some money gambling through card games, but does the world really need you to play cards and make money? It doesn't help the planet or the world in any way as such. So that is something which Ikigai kinds of points out, saying that if you do something that the world really needs, then the fulfillment that you will get will be a lot higher and the sustainability of your effort will also be extremely long. So now the first step that you did was to find something that you love or a lot of things that you love. And the second thing or the second step that you did is to understand from those things that you love, which are those things that you are good at. And then in the third step, now you're trying to find out the things that you love and things that you are also good at. Out of them, which are those things actually fulfills some need in this world. Now, if you have come to this point where you have got few of the things that you like to do, that you are good at, and also the world needs, you're almost there. And there is only one last step that is left, which completes the journey. So let's get to the last step. And the last step is the world willing to pay for it? And this is the step that makes your idea or your activity that you are good at, that you also love, and that the world needs, a money-making idea. This is the step which can be actually very concretely linked with the management or business terms called market. When somebody says that there is no market for your idea, then they are basically referring to the same thing, that nobody will be willing to pay for your offering or your idea or your product. So now if you have arrived to a point where you know all the things that you like to do, you know all the things that you are good at, and you know which are those things that the world also needs, now you have to drill down which are those things among them, or which is that one thing that the world is willing to pay as well. Now, not everything that the world needs, world will be able to pay for it. If I give the similar weird example which I took in the last step, which is you like to make pens with music, now how many people would be willing to pay for it? There could be few people who might want to try it and pay for it, but is the market large enough for you to actually make a living or earn sustainable money for a long period of time? Probably not. Another example would be you really like to learn obscure and ancient languages, and you have learned a lot of ancient, very difficult languages. Now, the world might have a need to learn those languages, because once you learn those languages, you uncover a lot of things. But how many people are actually willing to pay you to learn a very ancient languages? What is the relevance of that language in terms of value to the other people who then can use that language for their own benefit? There probably will not be too many people who will pay a large sum of money to learn a language or ancient obscure language from you. So this here tells you the disconnect between the need, which could be there could be a gap of that information in the world, but are people looking to pay for bridging that gap or not? So in this case, probably you will not find too many people willing to pay for the service of learning obscure ancient languages, until unless you make it in a different manner, which makes it much more interesting, which adds more value to it, or you add some other offerings to it. But what I'm essentially trying to tell is it doesn't have that large a market yet. So this is the fourth step, which makes the thing or any activity that you love to do, that you are good at, and where the world also needs it, which makes it fulfilling and sustainable for you to carry it on for a longer period of time, and also the world is willing to pay. This is the win-win formula. This creates the magic. And if you can really identify any activity that can fulfill all these four criteria, then it's very likely that you can take up that activity as your profession and can actually be extremely successful in the long run, while adding very positive amount of value to this world. And also you'll have fun along the way. It will be extremely fulfilling because you will do what you love to do. So this is the core concept of Ikigai, and this is the concept, or these are the components of that concept, which leads to a very, very happy, successful and fulfilling life if you can get that activity which fulfills all these criteria. Now, if you have found your Ikigai, or if you have gone through this process of identifying your Ikigai, please do let me know by mentioning that in the comment. Would love to hear about what you think about your Ikigai. And apart from that, obviously, if you like the video, do hit like in the video, do subscribe the channel, and do share the video with others. I'll see you in the next video.